Hello, welcome to the channel, another episode of The Woo. This episode we're going to be talking more training tips. Now this is going to be aimed towards that person who's moved from the sort of daily basic raw runner and someone who's moving into that area of actually training for a specific goal or race or time trial that they've set, and they want to put some actual structure into their running. So let's go ahead and move on to the first tip. So tip number one is using lap pace rather than average pace. Now this is something that is going to be absolutely vital if you're going to try and add consistency to any sort of structured running. Lap time is basically the average pace of that certain lap which you define. Now if you're using like phone apps or you've got smartwatches, Garmin's, Polar, and anything that's recording your run, whatever software it is, it probably already is set as a default to record laps as 1 kilometer or 1 mile, and that's usually okay. But sometimes when you're doing structured running, you need to be able to change what your recording device is going to see as a lap. So if you were thinking about doing an interval session, for example, did an 8 times 2 minutes intervals with another 2-minute walk recovery, you have an interval lap of 2 minutes running at a certain pace which you can monitor as you're running, and then you've got a 2-minute recovery that you want to have recorded as a lap, and then it repeats 8 times. So there you're going to get all your recorded laps at the end of it. Now if you were to use average pace, that would just take the whole average pace of the whole run including your recovery, and you don't really want that, and you wouldn't be able to see how fast you're running in those intervals. So every single 2 minutes of your interval run, you need to see exactly the pace you're running at. So use lap pace. That's going to be able to get you the consistency, one of the most important things for me. So tip number 2, I'm talking about strength and conditioning specifically for running. Everyone's completely different. Everyone has weaknesses that are different to someone else. For me, it was always my hip mobility, and I've always had problems with my back. When I went to the physio the first time, they just instantly said, well, they did some tests and it was clear that my left side hip was collapsing straight away when I was trying to put some stability on that side. So if you imagine running long distances at intensity and my left side's collapsing and letting me down, there's going to be something that's going to be wrong. The imbalance in the stride, I'm not going to be able to support the pounding of the roads, the intensity, and obviously cause problems within my back, which it did. And there are general exercises out there that you can look on YouTube. Everyone's different, so it's hard to say what exercise to do for you, but what I would suggest is try and identify what you may struggle with and then look for exercises specifically to improve that. So number 3, another tip is about music or listening to something while you're running. Now I do it myself. I love listening to podcasts. What I would say is make sure you don't always do every single session when you're training. Remember, this video is about people looking to train for certain goals, following a structured training plan. For me, I think you have to train some sessions where it's completely focused on what you are doing, focused on your form, the sound of your breathing. For me personally, I like to link it towards my actual strides, my footsteps, 2 in, 2 out, or 3 on 3. I need to hear what's going on. If you're slamming into the ground and you hear those heavy footsteps on that concrete and you're slamming downwards and bouncing up, then you can hear it. You're clearly not gliding along the surface, which you should be trying to do. Remember, we're trying to run forwards, not up and down. You're trying to kiss the ground and move, almost like rolling the ground and gliding forward rather than like a thud, thud, thud. So think about it, hear it. Now if you're listening to music and your favourite song comes on that gets your adrenaline going and pumping, you might just instantly just start thinking about pace and trying to get through the session and have a hard workout. Really concentrate on all the things that you should be doing. Practicing your hip positions, that is it up, is it forward, are you running long, are you picking your heels up? Use that time really in some sessions to really say to yourself, look, I'm going to be conscious of absolutely everything. So tip number 4 is all about do not miss warm-ups and do not miss post-stretching, pre-stretching as well. Don't miss any of that sort of after the run and before the run. Warm up properly, stretch properly, it'll reduce the chances of injury, and it'll make your run feel a lot better when you're fully flexible, fully stretched, fully mobile. And again, everybody's different, so work on what you feel that you need to work on, that you have problems with. Some people have tight calves, people have pains in the actual soles of the foot. For me, my biggest concern is always been my lower back. That's where I've had history, and that's where I always try to sort of warm up and get that prepared for any run as well as after the run. Obviously, I'm aware that some people don't have a lot of time, so think about a routine that's a long routine that if you had all the time in the world you would do. Build another routine with a little less time, and then build a routine when you've really got hardly any time, maybe a 5-minute blast warm up. So it's all about, again, looking after your body to make sure it's at its best shape. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more. Please subscribe, share if you like it, and stay tuned because more content will be coming in the future. See you next time.